Hi folks, how you doing? RussellTrueResults303.com. Check out the website, link in the description box, Mind, Body, Spirit, Fitness. Putting the healing back in health. Once again, don't forget to go to the website, get your free download, Setting Goals, Fitness, and Nutrition. Follow on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. The podcast is out there. All those links are down below. Join the community. Let's get going. Let's get growing. And let's get changing the world. So, coming at you today with a video on why it seems like the world doesn't like Christians. Maybe it's just me, and I know when you talk to a lot of people, they'll say, yeah, it is just you, right? Blah, 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 whatever. But in reality, we are becoming a little more looked down upon, in my opinion, right? And I think we've got to understand this. And it's kind of political where I'm going, but I'm trying not to get too political. But I know here in America, I think the biggest reason why they're, I guess you're going to have to go with the left a majority of the time. I hate trying to bring it up in that way. But they're like, oh, it's just a facade. You're tripping. There's nothing going on like that, right? However much percentage of the world or of America is a Christian nation. But then again, they say we're not a Christian nation. And I think this is why a lot of the world, especially if we're going to go the Islamic areas, the Muslim areas, I think the reason why they dislike us the most, or Christianity the most, is because unfortunately right now, and I've said this before, no matter what Americans think, no matter what these atheists in America think, no matter what anyone wants to think, the world sees America as a Christian nation. Because no matter what these Americans here think, we are a Christian nation. It just is what it is. Everybody knows it, right? Everybody in the world knows we're a Christian nation. So it doesn't matter what we think, that's how we are perceived. And I think the reason why they don't like us is because we are seen as a Christian nation and we don't act Christian. That's the main thing, right? And like I've always said, that's the beauty of God's free will. That's the beauty of the freedom in America. You have the freedom to act like a dummy and an idiot, or you have a freedom to act like a rational human being, right? And unfortunately, we don't do any of those things. Majority of us. That's why I can understand why they are mad at us. Because we do not live Christian values. It's the same thing when I was talking to somebody the other day, and within the Catholic community itself, they call them cafeteria Catholics. It's the same thing. I hate to tell you it, if you don't believe in what the Catholic Church teaches, you are not a Catholic. You are not Catholic, plain and simple. You're just a Christian. You're a non-denominational Christian. You can be whatever other form of Christianity you want to be, but you're not Catholic. And that's the way it is. Sorry, my phone's it's ringing here. Just hit reject on that. So that's plain and simple. If you don't believe in the church teaching, you're not a Catholic. And I think that's right then and there what gets the Catholicism confused. When you're not living, they're like, well, that's a Catholic, but he believes in this or that. That's not what the church teaches. It's like, well, you know what? I hate to say it. Well, that's not a Catholic, right? Same thing in and when you look into the Bible and you go into it, I was just doing a little bit of my podcast listening to before I got here, and God in the Old Testament always made you have to prove, right? Like even on the Passover, you must roast the meat, you must spread the blood, you must eat it, right? If you have a slave, your slave must participate in the Passover. But if it's just a foreigner in your land, you can't let the foreigners participate, right? The foreigners don't get to participate because they're not true Hebrews and they're not true Jewish descent. So they're not allowed to participate. But your slaves must, all these other people must. If you are part of the culture, you must, right? You must participate. So that's why we as Catholics, same thing. You want to go up and receive communion? You can't. Are you a Catholic? Well, no. Okay, well, you're not a part of the community then. That's the unfortunate thing, right? That's the same thing that St. Paul says in one of his letters, right? Oh, if you see that this person is committing adultery, being a drunkard, this or that, you kick him out of the community. If he's not acting right, he's not a part of the community. It's the way it is. And if we as America start to finally stand up for what we believe as Christians and not fall back just because we're called bigots and this and that, whatever the case may be. Stand up for our values. Stand up for something. But once again, if we're not going to act like a Christian nation, then don't get upset that other countries dislike us. Right? And that's a majority of the reason why. Because to tell you the truth, I understand when they talk about Islam and Muslim, they have their ideas and things like that, but I think we would at least be respected more as a nation if we stood by our Christian values, because we would be a completely different nation if we did that. Once again, we're just I hate to say it, America's almost like that Sin City of Vegas. It's just is what it is. We think we can come here and act a fool, but once again, like I said, that's the beauty of freedom. We're allowed to act however we want to. That's the beauty of freedom. Just like God, He's not going to force you to live the life that He wants you to lead. It's free will. You do what you want. He can't force you. That's where people always say, how come God doesn't just let Himself be known? Well, because if you knew He was God, then you would worship Him and you would follow the rules that God set. But once again, then that's not free will. If God just came out one day and was like, boom, I was God, that's not free will. Knowing that there is a true God, that's not free will. It's something you have to do on your own. You have to do the searching. You have to say, I want to turn off the TV and I want to sit in silence. And I'm not afraid to listen to my inner deeper thoughts and see what happens. That's what I always tell people. It starts somewhere. I don't care for you if it's Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever it is. You just need to get spiritual in some way, shape, or form. I think that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing that they dislike about America is that we were started as a nation deeply rooted in spirituality, and now we pretty much have no spirituality. We've fallen victim to this relativism to where it's what's true for me isn't true for you. Well, I'm sorry, if you jump off a 100-foot building, you're most likely, a 100-story building, you're going to die. That's not, oh, well, I can survive if I jump. Well, go ahead and jump then. I don't really care. But we've got to get out of this notion that what's true for me is not true for you. There is truth in this world, and you've got to be able to search for it. So once again, that's why they dislike us. We've lost who we are, and that's just what it truly comes down to, right? You can never know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. And right now, we as Americans have no clue where we've been, and we're just trying to forge ahead, the blind leading the blind, unfortunately. That's all it is. So once again, I hope this helps. Food for thought. Once again, it's finding yourself. I think that's the beauty of Catholicism. Once again, I'm always going to come back to it. The tradition, right? It's funny how nobody in life wants tradition, right? When it comes, they can't tell me, what to do in the bedroom. You can't tell me what to do here. You can't tell me what to do there. Look at our families now. When I was younger, when my mother was growing up, right, it was Sunday breakfast every day at grandma's house, family get-togethers. We don't have those anymore. We've lost that tradition. But when it comes to you and your family, you and your wife and your kids, right? No, we do this every Wednesday. No, we do this every Thursday. No, we do this every Sunday, right? But we don't want to take those ancient traditions and bring them into our life. Those are the ones that held true foundations. And now we're not even including them. You can build upon that. We're just saying, no, it's garbage. It doesn't mean anything. Whatever happened to sentimental value in life? There is no sentimental value anymore. I think that's something we've lost as well. We fell victim to the value of something materialistically based on the dollar instead of that. I just said it and I forgot it. That sentimental value, right? The value that it has because it's been in my family forever. Like this ring right here. People always laugh at me and say, only finger fits on my thumb. This little ring right here was my grandfather's when he passed away. I put it on my thumb. It's like it's the only finger it fits. It's like, why don't you just go get it resized? It's like, well, no, because then it's been altered, right? It's been altered. No, this is the exact ring that my grandmother gave my grandfather for something. I don't know what it was, right? But no, that's why I wear it. It has sentimental value to me. And hopefully my son or daughter, whatever, family member is going to do the same thing. Sentimental value. That's way better than a materialistic whatever. You know what I mean? And that's what they always say as well. If you know your house is going to burn down tonight, what are the first 10 things you're going to grab? That's what you should think about. What are the first 10 things you're going to grab? Majority of the time, it's not like, I better grab my 70-inch TV. I better grab my this or that, right? You're going to go for those things that you truly love and truly have value in your life. And when it comes down to it, it's not the laptop. It's not this. It's not that. It's not the book. It's, photo albums, whatever the case may be. what we've got to start looking at life more as that sentimental value and true worth, not this materialistic BS out there. So, once again, I hope this helps. Don't forget to follow on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. The podcast is out there. Subscribe to this channel. Share and like these videos.